Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over the tropics, which we are still watching that one area just to the east there of the Caribbean, which still is trying to get its act together, but it is interacting with a little bit of dry air, so we don't expect this system to get wildly strong, but it will still intensify a little bit these next couple of days. So we will be talking about what we can expect for how strong that will get. We will also be going over this warm and cold air that's going to be here in the United States, which we are doing with above average temperatures out there to the west, and still continuing to deal with very chilly temperatures out here to the east. And then we'll likely see a wild switch in temperatures as we head into later this month, and we will be going over that too as well. But if you are new here to the YouTube channel, or if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button. I really do appreciate you guys subscribing to my YouTube channel, but if you guys could get me up there to 600 subscribers before the weekend, that would be great. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up too as well. Those help out more than you know. And also, don't forget to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below. I do appreciate you guys commenting down below on my last few videos, but if one of you guys haven't commented already, make sure to leave a comment down below, or at least feel free to if you haven't already. But let's first go ahead and start out with the tropics. And as you guys can see, like I said, we are still watching that area just to the east there of the Caribbean, which does actually have a 40 to 50% chance of development still. So like I said, still not, likely to intensify just yet, as it is still interacting with a little bit of dry air. But as it does get closer to the Caribbean, that's where it will reach those warmer sea surface temperatures, which, kind of brings a little bit of a concern of maybe some rapid intensification, but we don't really expect the system to, very strong, but we will look at them all to figure that out in today's video. But that go down over here towards, parts there of Central America, we do actually have a small chance of development across that area, but, models weren't really showing this impacting anywhere in the Caribbean or the United States. It's just going to come offshore and go right back into Mexico, and you guys can kind of tell due to how this is shaped. So what it's going to do is it's going to come off there of Central America, and then it's going to kind of make a U-turn and go back down towards parts there of the Yucatan Peninsula there in Mexico. So that's something to watch there for Mexico, but like I said, not going to impact the Caribbean or the United States, thankfully. So thankfully, neither one of these systems looks to impact us, at least from what we know so far. Let's look at the model intensity guidance, and as you guys can see, like I said, the system isn't really expected to get dramatically strong, but most models are showing a low in category 1 to, maybe even a high in category 2 hurricane. Not really very many models really do point out category 2. I think I'm kind of on with high in tropical storm to low in category 1 hurricane. So like I said, this system isn't likely going to get dramatically strong, so whether it does impact land or not, we aren't likely going to see as high of impacts as what we saw with those last few that we saw, like with Helene and Milton. This isn't going to be anything as strong compared to those two, but we will still continue to keep an eye on it, as it may reach a little bit of a favorable environment somewhere around that area, and that's when it would have the best chance to maybe reach category 1 hurricane strength. But like I said, not really looking to get that strong, so thankfully this isn't going to be our worst hurricane. Let's now go ahead and look at the model track guidance, and as you guys can see, like I said, this does look to continue to head towards the Caribbean, and most models are showing that it will head to the southwest there of Cuba, so it will pretty much, instead of turning around and going north, it will start heading more towards that way. But it's still a little bit iffy on what it will exactly do in that area, but most models did show it dying down in that area. So like I said, not really expected to get dramatically strong, and even if it does impact land like the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, not likely to see as high of impacts, because those temperatures in the waters have been cooling down because it is fall now, and it is interacting with some drier air that's around too as well. So that's the reason why the system won't get as strong. Let's now go ahead and look at the washes, warnings, and advisories display. Now I know this looks different than what I did in my last video, but I kind of agreed that this actually looked better than the other one that I had up, and this also shows more of the alerts that are on there. But as you guys can see, lots of freeze warnings currently in effect for the Midwest. We even got some there for the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, but even those frost advisories do extend as far down south as Kentucky right there. So that's something to really be watching for, as some frost potential will definitely be there for Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, even southeast Missouri into southern Ohio, which we do have some freeze warnings in effect for Ohio too as well. So we will be keeping an eye on those areas, and same with Pennsylvania and New York, as we are kind of seeing some frost conditions out there too as well. But look over here in the higher elevations, guys. I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but we actually have winter storm warnings currently in effect for the highest elevation in Utah, which would be the Keene Peaks region. It's a little bit hard to see this one, but this one lines up in between South Jordan, Utah, all the way down there towards Orem. So pretty much the higher elevations just to the east of those areas. Those areas could also be seeing a lot of snowfall too as well, and even a couple higher elevations there. Montana also look to be seeing snowfall too as well. So we will definitely be watching that storm system closely as it does move on by, and after reading it, it sounds like we could see up to 24 inches of snowfall, guys, which is crazy, and I apologize for that, guys. I am really mad about how my computer has been acting today. But anyway, like I said, lots of snowfall likely for the higher elevations, and then we even got some fire alerts in effect for parts there of Utah, even down there towards Nevada, and that's just gonna be for tomorrow and even the day after tomorrow. But after that, that's when we can expect there to be some pretty crazy snowstorms and rainfall across that area. Now let's go ahead and look at those temperatures, and like I said, we are doing with above average temperatures out here to the west, with below average temperatures out here to the east. So definitely still feeling it out there across both areas, but especially out here to the east, where like I said, we do have a lot of that frost potential still around. But look what happens as we head into October 18th. We kind of see a temperature switch there, where we start to see below average temperatures out there to the west, and we start to see warmer air starts to surge in, and that's a huge change, because look, we are dealing with below average temperatures out there in Canada, but look, now we're dealing with well above average temperatures out there in Canada. That is a huge change, guys, compared to what we been seeing these last few days. And I mean, it's gonna kind of blow our minds a little bit when we start to see this happen. But we are really talking well above average temperatures out here to the east, and that warm air will continue to surge on in by the time we head into October 25th, with well above average temperatures likely farther down to the south as this continues to surge on in, and we can even see well below average temperatures out here across parts there of the west. But even the lower elevations looks to see above average temperatures, which would be pretty crazy. So definitely a pretty wild change compared to what we're seeing right now. Like I said, where we're kind of getting those temperature switches. So it certainly is still something that we do need to continue to keep an eye on too as well. But with these temperature switches, we might end up seeing some severe weather later this month, which is something we are watching closely. Let's now go ahead and look at the Climate Prediction Center. Starting off with the 6 to 10 day outlook, we do have a pretty good chance there of well above average temperatures out there to the east. A chance maybe out here to the west, but most of that warm air will be out here towards the east as well. Above average temperatures likely, because like I said, we are dealing with below average temperatures right now. But as we head into later October, that's when we will likely see those huge switches in temperatures. And like I said, we are going to see well above average temperatures out here to the east. For precipitation, though, we still continue to stay dry across parts of the east, unfortunately, especially the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, back into the deep south, but especially areas all along the East Coast looks to be well below average for, the last few weeks of October. And, even back over here towards the west, we got, those huge, systems that we're watching for closely, and some of them will bring very, very heavy snowfall and even impactful snowfall, perhaps to the higher elevations, and that's one of the reasons why we are expecting well above average precipitation out here to the west, especially across southwest Oregon, northwest California, and of course the panhandle. Both Oklahoma and Texas will be two areas to watch closely. And then we start to change a little bit as we continue to head later into October. This is from October 22 all the way to October 28th, and we continue to stay above average out here to the east while we start to see some of that below average temperatures surge on in out there towards the west coast. So that's something to also watch for too as well. And then for the precipitation during that time frame, still likely to be above average across southern Oregon and northern California. That will likely continue to shift southeast towards parts there of the Midwest as these storm systems look to be on the stronger side of things, and we even start to be a little bit near normal there for parts of the Ohio Valley, but that East Coast area just doesn't really look to see any rain anytime soon, unfortunately. But like I said, we will be watching for and do expect some pretty huge changes as we head into the later part of this month. So like I said, we will be keeping an eye on it for you. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. Like I said, if you guys could get me up to 600 subscribers before this weekend, that would be great, and I also would appreciate that too as well. But if you guys haven't liked or if you haven't commented already, make sure to do both of those down below. And of course, I will continue to keep you guys updated on this huge change that could happen by the time we head into the later part of this month. So make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for more updates like that, and I hope you guys all have a great Tuesday.